We live in this world that feels just infinitely connected, right? Built on these digital systems that promise limitless speed and power. But here's the paradox. The very thing that makes us feel so powerful might just be our greatest weakness. Our constant chase for the next high-tech thing. It's actually made us dangerously fragile.
I mean, look at this. This image perfectly captures how we think about the digital world. It's sleek, it's endless, it's powerful. But here's the thing. That's really just a perception. The reality is, the more we lean on these incredibly complex systems, the more vulnerable we become to big disruptions that can shake their very foundations.
For decades, we all kind of believed the biggest risk was not digitizing fast enough. The race was on, right? More speed, more data, more connectivity. But all this hyper-digitalization, it's like we've built ourselves a digital glass house. Yeah, it looks incredible, but it's left us completely exposed to massive new risks we never saw coming.
And that gets us to the fundamental problem. We've been chasing the wrong thing. We are obsessed with performance, making everything faster, smarter, more efficient. But we've completely forgotten about resilience. We've basically designed a system for a perfect world, but, well, we live in a pretty unpredictable one.
So, okay, how does this fragility actually translate into real-world threats? A fascinating new report from a couple of key organizations, SIGGRAPH and the Institut du Numérique Responsable, did just that. They looked ahead to forecast exactly where the biggest cracks in our digital foundation are most likely to show up.
And what's really eye-opening about their forecast is that it doesn't just point to one single problem. Nope. Instead, it identifies a perfect storm. 3 huge, interconnected crises that are all expected to converge within the next decade or so. And that's going to put immense pressure on our entire digital infrastructure.
And here they are. Think of these as the 3 horsemen of our potential digital apocalypse. First up, supply chain collapse. Just imagine geopolitical conflicts suddenly cutting off access to the semiconductors and rare metals that are in every single device we own. Second, resource rationing. The thirst that data centers have for energy and water is just insatiable, and it could literally force us to choose what services get to stay online. And third, straight-up climate damage. We're talking about extreme weather events physically destroying the cables, the cell towers, all the stuff we just take for granted.
So when you're facing risks like that, a really surprising solution is starting to gain traction, the low-tech approach. But let's clear up a major misconception right away. This is not about throwing away your smartphone and going to live in a cabin in the woods. Not at all.
This is the first question that pops into your head, isn't it? Is this just being nostalgic for some simpler time? Well, the experts say a definitive no. In fact, they argue it's a necessary step forward into a much smarter and way more resilient future.
So let's look at the actual definition here. Low-tech is an innovative approach. The goal is to maximize what is actually useful for people, for society, while staying within our planet's limits. See? It's not anti-technology, it's about refocusing technology on what really truly matters.
What's crucial to understand is that this is a really sophisticated design philosophy. It's all about asking these simple but pretty profound questions before we build anything. Like, does this solve a real essential need? Is it built to last and be repaired, not just thrown away? Is it simple enough that anybody can understand and use it? Can it keep working even when things get unstable? And maybe the most important one, does it empower us or just make us more dependent on some big, complex system?
Okay, so let's connect the dots. How does this whole low-tech philosophy give us practical answers to those giant risks we just talked about? Because this isn't just a theory, it's a real strategic framework for taking action. This chart just lays it out perfectly. To counter a supply chain disruption, you build up local repair skills and find more local suppliers. To deal with energy and water rationing, you design ultra-efficient, hardened systems that just do more with less. And to get ready for infrastructure damage, you create simple, manual backup processes, a plan B for when the digital systems inevitably fail. It's all about building in toughness and redundancy at every single level. Ultimately, what this all comes down to is a massive shift in how we think about innovation. It's not about being anti-tech, it's about moving from this mindset of always wanting more tech to a much wiser mindset of choosing the right tech for the job. There's this quote from Richard Barry that just absolutely nails it. Digital resilience will not be built against the world's constraints, but with them. For so long, we've acted like technology could just conquer any problem, any constraint. The new reality is that real, lasting innovation has to work with the world's limits, its resources, its instability, its unpredictability.
And that brings us to what I think is the single most important idea in all of this concept of techno-discernment. It's basically the wisdom to choose the right tool for the job. It's about shifting from asking, can we do this with technology, to asking, should we? And is this the simplest, most robust way to get this done? That, right there, is the new hallmark of innovation.
And so that leaves all of us with a final, pretty provocative question to carry forward. As we navigate a future that's going to be defined by constraints, we have to get a whole lot better at asking ourselves, our companies, and our communities what is truly essential. Because building a resilient future, well, it starts with knowing what's actually worth protecting.